And now the village is officially complete. Now I know what you're thinking. Crave, haven't you died not once, not twice, but 3 times in hardcore Minecraft? Why are you starting another one? Well, because I can. Oh, and I'm bringing the Minecraft music back. We got a fresh new taiga seed for this world, and yes, I will be finally giving the seed away because I know you guys are gonna want it. Starting off on day 0 though, my main goal was to find a village as quick as possible so that I could begin the trading process. So I gathered up some wood for tools. Got some stone, coal, and then I scouted for a village. Once I saw one in the distance, I looked for some sheep for a bed, and then I grabbed some sugar. Day 1, I made a nice little campfire for food, and then I headed off for the village. I started looting the village and killed the golem for iron. Then threw down my sugarcane and dedicated a little spot for a cow pen, since I knew I was going to need some leather for books. I threw a chest down there for wheat, and then I got some flint for some fletching tables.
What's up guys, sorry to interrupt the video. I just wanted to say that I'm releasing a brand new main channel where I'm going to be posting a lot more content like stream highlights and random games. I'm also going to be streaming on Twitch at cravecutbusiness, so go sub to the main channel and catch the stream if you can. I'm not going to be stopping any of the Minecraft content, so don't worry, those will keep coming monthly. However, if you want to catch a lot more of my content, go sub to the main channel. And also join the Discord while you're at it. Thanks guys, and enjoy the video.
On day 2, I started with making a Fletcher in the village to trade sticks for emeralds. I then held 2 hut villagers hostage and I left them with some alone time. This villager wanted to be a cow so very badly, and it was very annoying to get him out. I started a mine so that I could get more stone. And then I made another Fletcher and then slept for the night. On day 3, I started trading sticks, and then I made a toolsmith to trade towards better tools. And then I went to go find some more iron for trading, and during my journey I slept in a cave for some reason. And day 4, I made a blast furnace to smelt up everything that I found. I put a chest in this mountain for whatever reason, and I threw in a couple of my first tools as a time capsule. Then I made a grindstone so that I could make a weaponsmith and an armor, and then I went to cut some more trees down for sticks, and I spent all of day 5 cutting down trees and gathering wood for trading. On day 6, I finished getting wood, went to a shipwreck where I was almost forked to death by a drown. I then retreated to my boat and went to find the buried treasure, and then I got my bed and headed back to the village. I worked on trading some more and eventually got some diamond boots from the armorer. A little bit more trading and I got pants, and then I went back to work on the mine. I kept mining and trading until I was able to get full diamond armor on day 8. I went to grab some more iron and then found another village that I looted and slept at for the night. On day 9, I spent the entire day just trading with villagers and breeding my cows. I spent days 10 and 11 mining and finding my first friend in the world. I decided to name him Coyote, a play on words of coyote, and I brought him back to the village to join the villagers. I continued trading and breeding villagers until I got diamond shovel, hoe, and then I started breaking down one of the villager houses. I spent days 12 through 15 terraforming the area and building a carrot and potato farms to help with the breeding process. Day 16, I traded up for a diamond pickaxe, and then I decided to sleep to get the phantoms off my neck. On day 17, I left the village to go exploring. I eventually found a giant cave that turned out to be a lush cave, and while I was enjoying the view, I decided it was a good idea to look over this edge. And that is exactly why I am on Series 4 already. I kept mining for ores and found an axolotl friend that I decided to name Oxy in remembrance of Series 1. I brought Oxy back and made a little hole for him for now, and then I used iron to finish the trading for all the diamond gear. I spent days 18 and 19 working on making the crop farms automatic so I could use villagers to throw the crops to each other. I left the village on day 19 to get some coal so that I could light up the village and stop mobs from spawning. I gave Coyote a colored collar and I made an anvil so that I could finally name him with the name tag from the shipwreck. Day 21, I decided it was slaughter day for the cows, and Coyote even helped me out with this one. I then fixed up the cow pen and put a fence around it and also around the mine as well, so that everything matched. I spent the days 22 and 23 terraforming the village to make an area for the villager hall that will be holding all the villagers for every job in the game. The next 7 days I spent getting all the materials for the hall, and I also decided to bring back the Series 2 trading hall. I went back and forth breaking trees, getting stone, and crafting all the blocks I needed, and then I made some glass as well. On day 31, I finally had all of the materials to start building the hall. Once I finished the hall, I immediately started planning for the next building, and I decided on an enchanting house. I brought back the storage house design from Series 2, however, I changed it up a bit, and I fit an enchantment setup in there. I started collecting materials once again, and I took a trip to get obsidian, and on day 37, I started the build. Once the build was complete, I moved all of the villagers' beds into the trading hall and then enchanted my shovel to make terraforming a little easier. I spent the rest of day 38 and 39 searching for mending with librarians. Once I finally got mending, I worked on the clerics for glowstone and pearls. Now at this point I needed two things: totems, because I've already lost 3 worlds, and emeralds for trading. So I spent the rest of the day searching for a place to build a raid farm. I went back to spawn to find an open ocean perfect for the build. On day 41, I started collecting all the materials I would need for the raid farm. This meant I needed bamboo, building blocks, and a bunch of redstone stuff. The last thing I needed was soul sand, which meant I had to take a trip to the nether. I was holding off on this because I kind of wanted the first episode to be mainly overworld progress, but I guess I was taking stupid soul sand. To my surprise, there was a fortress within sight, which was a relief because every single fortress I've had before has been like 1,000 blocks away. Once I grabbed the soul sand, I looked for some quartz for comparators, and then I came across this beauty, which I ran from immediately. Days 44 and 45, I finally enchanted my pickaxe with Fortune 3. I made efficiency 5 and threw that on there, and then I took it for a test drive to get some iron and redstone. Once I came back, I continued to work on material gathering, and on day 46, I whipped up a new sword, and I worked towards putting the Wrath of God on that bad boy. I traded for looting 3 and sweeping edge, and then I added them to the sword. Day 47, I went back to the nether for some more XP when I found a second fortress. So I grabbed some blaze rods, and I even got to level 30. I then returned to the village and started to panic when I realized that all my villagers were gone. But then I found them.
I'm gonna need you to get down, bud.
I spent day 48 gathering wood and trading for emeralds to fine-tune my sword for the raid farm. Finally started the farm on day 49, creating a giant tunnel with villager holding cells on each side. Once I was ready to add villagers, I headed over to the second village and I gave free boat rides to Captivity. And then this happened. So yeah, once again, this is why it's Series 4. I spent days 55 to 57 searching for an outpost to start the farm itself. This took forever, but I eventually found one around 1,000 blocks away. I grabbed that omen, and then I accidentally gave it to this village.
Hey yo, dead ass G, my bad pimp.
I boated back to the raid farm and tested things out, which actually ran perfectly. We finally got totems. And yes, they're coconuts, because why not? The next thing on the agenda was the trading hall. Now, not only did I want a villager with every occupation, but I wanted at least 2 of them. So on day 59, I worked towards creating every single workbench. I started days 60 and 61 by bringing every villager up in the trading hall. I got a Silk Touch pickaxe with the leftover XP.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to...
And then I continued moving villagers. On day 62, I continued breeding villagers and giving out jobs for the next couple of days. I bought some new armor to enchant and I put it on an armor stand to be worked on, which was a big mistake because on day 68, it was struck by lightning. On day 68 and 69, I bought some mending books for all my gear and finally finished moving all the villagers into their stations. I spent days 70 to 72 restarting the raid farm and running it again so that I could work on maxing out my armor. The following 2 days I spent doing just that, trading, enchanting, and renaming all my gear to have the maximum amount of protection. I then traded up for some golden carrots and ender pearls. On day 75 I forgot to hit record, but I bought some glowstone from the villagers and then I did some enchanting. I then started deciding where I wanted to put Farmville 2.0, pulling the design from Series 2. Day 78, I found this little guy trying to help me, and I named him Croak in honor of the first series. I decided that the walls for the village and Farmville were going to require enough wood that I'd need a wood farm. So on days 79 and 80, I spent gathering the materials for one, and I built it. On day 81, I took a trip back to my mine to revisit a skeleton spawner I found earlier, and I decided to use it as a source of bone meal. I spent the next couple days clearing out an area and creating the farm. I then used the bone meal to test out the wood farm on day 84. On day 85, I threw a stone generator down there, and I thought I almost lost Croak for a second.
Got him.
I then got struck by lightning somehow and protected a villager. And then on my return, all of my roaming villagers were zombies. So I cooked up some potions and brought them back and started getting materials for the next village house. On day 87, I started the house after clearing out an area for it.
I then started on a dock around the house, and I wanted to get some campfires to finish both of them. On days 91 and 92, I started terraforming for another big return, the town hall. I farmed some bones for the wood farm, and I collected all of the stone I would need and started on the town hall on day 93. The next day I terraformed an area for a smithing house and began collecting materials again. On day 95 and 96, I hit the wood farm, stone generator, and then I got some more campfires and started on the house. Day 97, I broke down the starter house and I terraformed room for a farmhouse. I started getting materials and was stared at by this guy. The next day I started on the house, and then I used the stone generator for the farm walls. I was going to make a giant farm outside of the trading hall that would go all the way down to the water. So on day 99, I started on the farm walls, making a circular shape outside the trading hall. Day 100 eventually hit, and I was considering making this 100 days video, but I clearly wasn't done yet. So I continued to build. I spent the next couple days working on the giant farm, hoeing the dirt, making water holes, and pathing. I spent day 103 making temporary walls for the real walls, and then I started on the pillars for the next couple of days. Days 107 through 110, I started and finished the walls while running the wood farm for materials. I used the same design from Series 2 because I love it, however this time I added oak to the spruce for more variety. I then got to pick up a fork from a couple of drowns, and now that the zombies are kept out, I bred my villagers again and moved on to the pillars at Farmville. I stopped to get wood and began building up the walls around the area on day 113. On day 114, I headed back over and tore down the portal, and I started making the pathing around the village. I spent the next 5 days creating this last step to make the entire village come together. I pathed it, gave it some texture, added some leaves, and then lanterns for lighting. This really brought everything together, and honestly, I think it made the village look a lot better. I added some slabs around the walls for structure, and then I started bone mealing all the grass. On day 119, I added some pathing to Farmville and decided to finally let all the villagers loose. The next and final day, I decided to change the roofing on the oak houses to match the spruce houses more, and I was pretty pleased with how it turned out. On day 120, villagers were running around, mostly fishermen due to the barrels, but the village was coming alive, and now the village is officially complete. Thank you to everyone who made it this far in the video and watched. I'm sorry for the big lack of content. However, I will be pushing out as much as I can within the next couple months. I love you all, and see you guys later.